right, so I think I figured out what I'm going to do. Welcome back to Road to Doomsday, by the way, where I rebuild my entire Marvel Cinematic Universe Hot Toys collection in anticipation for Avengers Doomsday. We're rolling here. I think we're on episode 7, so if you haven't checked out any episodes yet, definitely check out the playlist that I'll link in the description below. Basically have rules, basically have a budget that we got to stick by, all this different stuff. So we're sitting here in November. I'll put up the graphics on the screen throughout the video so that way you can kind of see where we're at budget-wise. But, I wanted to kind of look back because I've been thinking a lot about the direction of my Marvel display. And I've been thinking a lot about how I want to collect in general going forward. And ever since I kind of came back from, I didn't collect anything for like 6 months. And I wanted to really figure out, what I wanted this Marvel display to look like. It's kind of part of the reason I wanted to do this series. Not only am I getting anticipation for, or the anticipation for Road to Doomsday has a lot to do with it, trying to set us up for that. But the stuff that I really have to have in this collection is, and you've heard me talk about in this series before, is 2012 Avengers is my all-time favorite MCU movie. I'll keep saying that, I guess. I know a lot of y'all are probably tired of hearing it at this point. But I wanted to figure out, okay, let's go back. To know where we're going to go, we have to go back to see where we've been and to see where, to reconnect with why the hype for Marvel, I'm hoping we can get it back with Doomsday. I'm hoping, nothing will probably touch that Endgame Infinity War hype. But man, I'm hoping we can get there with Doomsday. I'm hoping we can get close to it. I'll put it that way. But the thing about it is this. With Avengers 2012, I started thinking okay, we're waiting on 2.0s. I've already said on this show numerous times, if they do 2.0s, those are day one pre-orders. That's really what I want to wait on. But then I started thinking, there were so many characters back when Hot Toys did this Avengers 2012, collection that we might not ever see a 2.0 of that particular character. Now, I think it's again, I don't even know if it's a safe bet, but if you kind of look at who we have here, obviously you have Thor. That would make sense to do a Thor Artisan. We've already seen the new head sculpt of Scarlett Johansson. We've already seen the new head sculpt of Loki for that god Loki, both Artisans. We know they're going to give us a Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man Artisan at some point. It just makes sense. And then we've speculated that we could potentially get another Hulk figure because of the Red Hulk, all this different stuff. And then Bruce Banner. But, Bruce Banner is a perfect example. Do I think we're going to get another Mark Ruffalo Bruce Banner? I really do not. I really don't think we will. I think if we get a Hulk, it'll be a Hulk. So I started thinking, if I'm waiting on these 2.0s, all we're going to be doing is waiting. And in the meantime of waiting, I might be pre-ordering or pick up pieces that, I don't necessarily want that badly or I don't love. And I love 2012 Avengers. And there's all kinds of early MCU stuff, the earlier phases that I love as well. So why are we sitting here constantly living in the future, constantly seeing what's out there, what's to come, when we could go back and kind of look at some of these things? And a lot of people say don't buy backwards. And I've even said that, in this hobby, it's dangerous to buy backwards because you never know when you're going to get that 2.0 or that upgraded version. But there's so many characters back in the backlog of Marvel Hot Toys that I think we can get some good deals on some of these figures. And I think we're going to start here with Avengers 2012. And I've really been looking at this. Nick Fury is a character that comes to mind. We got Nick Fury here from the Avengers 2012. But we also have his version on the Winter Soldier. And I started thinking, I kind of looked at both these figures, and I think the Winter Soldier version looks better. I think that I want to have that Avengers 2012 display, but at the same time, I already have the Artisan Winter Soldier on pre-order that's coming up. I'm really contemplating that stealth suit version of Captain America from Winter Soldier. And having Nick Fury that could do both, kind of be in the Winter Soldier display, but also be in the Avengers 2012 display. And again, the outfits are slightly different, but I would be totally okay, honestly. I think it could work either way. I think you could have that same Nick Fury in either one of those displays and it would work. But that's a character I'm really keeping an eye on, is Nick Fury. Do I think that they give us another Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury at some point? I do. Do I think it's going to be anytime soon? I don't know, because the Mace Windu head sculpt I thought was very underwhelming, and that really shocked me that there's better head sculpts for Nick Fury back 10 years ago from Hot Toys than there was that version. And I don't know if they were trying to do the Clone Wars version of the character and then this version. I'm not sure, but that Attack of the Clones Mace Windu head sculpt I just think is not very good whatsoever. But I do think some of these head sculpts from Avengers and from Winter Soldier are really strong, and that's one we're going to be keeping an eye on. I also want to look at Hawkeye. Hawkeye is very interesting because we never got the Hawkeye from the Disney Plus show. We never got the Hawkeye from the Disney Plus show, and that's a problem. If we look at the other Hawkeyes we got, and I'm actually on collector forum or something like that. What is the name of this site? Let me see what the name of this site is real quick. We're on Collector Freaks, okay? And so we can kind of look back at all the different characters we've had. We've had the original Iron Man. I mean, Ironmonger. That's one I'm thinking about. You know, we're looking at Iron Man 2. We're looking at Whiplash. We're looking at some of these villains that I don't think we're ever going to get a 2.0 of. We even got Thor and Odin. We got Captain America with Red Skull. We have a lot of these different characters that we can go back and take a look at. But I wanted to talk about the Avengers here. And we got the 2012 Avengers Hawkeye, which, again, it is a dated figure, but I still think if we get it on a good enough deal, that'd be a really good piece to add to the display. I could not believe how many figures they made for Iron Man 3. This is absolutely wild. But even who we thought was the Mandarin at the time, Ben Kingsley's character here, this is a phenomenal figure. So again, there's a lot that we can go back and pick up that I don't think we are ever in danger of getting a 2.0 of. And I started thinking of where we're going with Doomsday, and we're spending so much time trying to figure out what we're going to do in anticipation for Doomsday, like how we're going to build the collection. The more I thought about it, why aren't we just waiting for Doomsday to come out? This is the road to Doomsday. Don't think that the series ends when Doomsday's here. When Doomsday gets here and we start seeing some of the figures that come out for that, now we're on a different road, man. Now we're in Doomsday. Now we're on the road to Secret Wars. And so who knows what kind of figures we're going to get for Doomsday. And instead of taking a chance on maybe picking up a piece that you get and then the character has a different costume and all of a sudden it's a whole different thing when Doomsday comes out, why don't we build up in anticipation of that and try to get some earlier phase MCU stuff? Because that'd be really cool to have on a display to kind of show like where we were, where we are now, and where we're going. And that's the mutant saga after, Doomsday and Secret Wars. So that really got me thinking about all these buying backwards and backlog characters. And that's something that I think I'm going to really start doing a little bit of, or at least kind of entertaining that with some different prices. Because you got Thor the Dark World here. You got two different Thors. You got a Loki. Probably not going to go that route. But you look at the Winter Soldier collection here. And not only are we getting this Artisan 2.0, but we're also getting the stealth suit Captain America. I love the 2-pack that I totally would love to go get. That 2-pack really looks cool. And the thing about it is we also got another Nick Fury. We have a Falcon here. So these are characters that I think we'd be able to go back. Now, look, it wouldn't shock me if they made a Winter Soldier Black Widow, but I'm really holding out hope for the Black Widow from Avengers, or at least Avengers Age of Ultron. I just love the short hair look for that character. Guardians of the Galaxy. Now we're getting into all the different movies. Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Age of Ultron. Look how deep they went with the Age of Ultron line here. Not only do you got your big 6 characters here. Here's the other Hawkeye, which I think the Age of Ultron Hawkeye looks really good. But I love the costume from the first Avengers movie, and plus it's from the first Avengers movie. And then you got your Hulk here, you got your Hulk Buster, you got Ultron. I would love it if they didn't die-cast Ultron. That'd be so sick. We got Vision. So there's tons of characters here that we can look at. And then you see how small they go for Ant-Man, no pun intended. But then Civil War, we get another Hawkeye. And out of all the Hawkeyes that are available right now, the Civil War Hawkeye is probably the best. Let me know in the comments below what you think. But, we got characters like Black Panther, and a lot of people, some of y'all have commented on my video saying that the Civil War Black Panther is the best Black Panther on the market right now. We have Ant-Man, we have War Machine, we have Scarlet Witch, we have Iron Man and Captain America, of course, we have another Falcon. So we really have a ton to pick from, but keep in mind, we got to stay on budget. we have to really think about this. So which ones can we really get a great deal on? We got Doctor Strange, we got Guardians Volume 2, we got some Yondu and stuff like that, but we really have to think about this strategically. And if it's on the road to Doomsday, I really kind of want to build out that Avengers team. I really think I do. I either want to do that or I really want to go super deep and super specific for each character and kind of start collecting like every phase of the MCU in a way. So Thor Ragnarok's a perfect example. Like having a Hela would be super cool, but then I'd really want to have like maybe a Thor to go with it, or maybe I'd do a villains thing. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. And here's Black Panther, the movie. Here's Infinity War. You can see all the characters. Now we're getting into stuff we're kind of familiar with. I already have this, again, familiar with in terms of like the most recent team-up movie and what figures we got from each of those. Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I believe they have Captain Marvel, and they show Endgame here in a second. There we go. So we have all these different characters. We have all these different ways to get these characters. Instead of going the Endgame Infinity War route, because they seem to have just made so many of those, and I feel like we'll be able to get some of these figures at any time. I'm really contemplating picking up, let's go all the way back to 2012 Avengers here, all right? Thor's one that I'm going to wait on. At this point, I've waited this long, I'm going to wait on the 2.0. Black Widow from this movie, this figure's very dated. I want to wait on the 2.0. We already have the suit-up version. There's already a Mark 6 out there that we can get, so we can pick that up. Excuse me, hold on. We also have the Endgame Loki on a really good sale. I've seen some good deals for this figure that I'm really contemplating picking up that Endgame Loki to have the Avengers 2012. We have the Bruce Banner. We have the Chitauri. We have a lot of these different things. We have Coulson. We have a lot of great characters that I think we can pick up and not have to worry about it. The ones that I think we'd be totally safe on would be Coulson, would be the Chitauri, and would be a Bruce Banner. I think every other character on here has potential to get one. I think we'd probably be okay with Nick Fury. There's a part of me that thinks we'd actually be okay with this Hawkeye right now. I think if they do a Hawkeye, it's going to be a future Hawkeye. I would love it if they gave us a Hawkeye from Avengers. And I'm not saying we're safe because that's a super dated figure, but that's a figure I want. That's a figure I think we can probably get for like maybe like $125, $150, depending on the condition. Like, probably wouldn't get it brand new, but could probably get it used. So we're going to be taking a look at that with eBay and different stuff like that. I think the ones I want to focus on are Nick Fury, Agent Coulson, and Hawkeye. And again, there was part of me that thought like, okay, I'll just buy the figures and then I'll just show like surprise, on the show. But part of this show was going through the thought process. So I didn't want to just buy stuff without doing a video, because that's part of what Road to Doomsday is. That's part of what the series is showing you the thought process, showing in real time, thinking about how we can build this collection. But I really, really thank you guys. And let me know in the comments below if you're cool with this. We've been trying to figure out the direction we're going to go. Now, that's not to say that if we don't get some announcements and we don't get some crazy stuff going on, that this could change in any moment. But as of right now, I feel really good about going this route. Saving some space and saving some budget for hopefully some Avengers 2.0s of the original 6 characters, but also start building out on a budget what we can of some earlier phase MCU stuff, primarily Avengers. And Coulson's a character that I just feel like is just him and Fury almost like kick-started the whole Avengers initiative. So that'd be kind of cool and poetic to kind of start our whole journey off, making sure we get those characters as we start building out this display. And it might take a year, it might take 2 years to get these announcements, but I'm hoping we're close to getting them. If not, maybe we do have to look at going back and just picking up these figures. Yes, they're dated. Yes, they're a little older, but there's some novelty in that. There's some like exciting, cool nostalgia to that as well. So that's where we're at right now. And I think that if we even went a step further here, we could maybe get some of these iconic villains, like Red Skull, like Whiplash from Iron Man 2. We could start getting these pieces that I think are 100% safe, but then are we really building out the collection we want, the Avengers we want? So that's kind of the the two places we could go. We could either go some villains, like let's go ahead and pick up some of these villains that I don't think they're going to make a 2.0 of at all. And even if they did, it wouldn't be anytime soon. Or do we start picking up some of these characters that may or may not get the 2.0 treatment? Now, we already know that we're going to get another Doomsday Thor. We're going to get, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom. We're going to, we've talked about this a lot. Black Widow is just a character with that new sculpt. They're going to give us more Black Widow character figures. So I either want to start building out some of these older, buying backwards and getting some of these older characters, older figures from Avengers 2012, or I want to go villains route, or I want to go maybe Age of Ultron. And the reason I say Age of Ultron is like there is a better chance that they revisit the Avengers movie than Age of Ultron, but Hot Toys is very random at times. Like you'll be shocked the announcements you'll get from the IPs. Like you never thought you'd get it from this movie, and you do. The guessing game is what characters are most likely to get 2.0s. Obviously, it's going to be Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Black Widow. Those four characters, we could see multiples and multiples and multiples of those year in and year out. Especially Captain America and Iron Man. Hulk, I'm just, at this point, I've waited this long. I'm thinking the play is to just wait a little bit longer to see. They do have a new body that they just did. I'm not sure if that's a completely new body of the Red Hulk, but it gives you signs that there could be a Hulk. And I just think at this point, that would be such an incredible figure and one that I think would sell extremely well that I think we hold off on that. But we have Maria Hill. We have Quicksilver, man. So this really has been exciting me. And I'll be honest with you guys, like for the first time since we started Road to Doomsday, I've been having a blast with this series. I hope you have as well. But for the first time since we've been doing this series, I have been reconnecting with the true love of why I love these movies and why I loved collecting them. I never collected Hot Toys back when these movies came out, but I collected a lot of stuff for these movies, and it brought back those memories, brought back those great moments, and that is what I want to follow. And I just feel like in my heart, like that's what I want on the display. And it was an exciting time. It was like a light bulb moment of like, yeah, like that's what it should be about. Like that's what our rebuilding the Marvel Cinematic Universe display should be about, is we got to have our shelf represent who we are. And I want this to represent who I am as a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. I love this stuff, man. It holds such a special place in my heart. And even though I haven't been able to get back to the hype that was Endgame, we're probably never going to get back to that level of hype. But with Doomsday on the horizon, with Secret Wars, man, there's that glimmer of hope of like, dude, we might get back to super hype Avengers stuff again, and that's just bringing back a whole wave of emotions. But there's so many cool characters we could get that I think we'd be safe and wouldn't get that 2.0 treatment. And I really think that I'm gonna focus on those three movies: is Avengers Age of Ultron, and maybe even Civil War. So you even look at Civil War here, I think we'd be safe with Falcon. I don't think they redo a Falcon. I think they're solely focused on Sam Wilson's Captain America. Again, same issue with Hawkeye. I think Ant-Man's a character that, like, I just don't understand why they can't get Paul Rudd's likeness. But that's a character I could see them doing again. Black Panther's a character I think they're totally going to do again. I think they're going to give us, like, an essential version of that character. But, you look at just all this other stuff, and it's like War Machine. It's like, we got plenty of those to pick from. So maybe not Civil War. The more I'm looking at it, like, all those characters that are pictured right there, other than maybe Falcon, I could see them getting another one. So let's stick with Age of Ultron, and let's stick with Avengers 2012, or we can have some fun and maybe even do some Iron Man 3. Maybe we could do some Iron Man 2, some Captain America First Avenger, some Thor. So there's options here. So I'm kind of deciding between Avengers Age of Ultron, and then just villains from the different phases. Because villains, like, they very rarely do 2.0s of those. And so, we've already talked about, definitely Thanos needs to be added, but maybe we could build out like a villains line, like start getting some of each of the major villains from some of these movies. But right now I'm leaning towards checking the prices on Coulson, checking the prices on Nick Fury, and maybe even checking the prices on Bruce Banner. because I just don't see them doing another Bruce Banner like figure by itself, and that really intrigues me. I do think the Bruce Banner is going to be much more expensive than the Nick Fury and the Coulson. And again, I would probably prioritize getting the Nick Fury from Winter Soldier as opposed to the one from the Avengers, just because I think it looks a little bit better. I think the sculpt's a little stronger and stuff like that. And who knows, it could be the same sculpt, but it just looks a little bit better to me. Even though it's the Winter Soldier version, I still think it could work within a 2012 Avengers display. But also, I got the Winter Soldier coming, so it would work perfect with that anyway. So that's our options here. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what direction you would like to go. I definitely want to hear from you in the comments. Y'all's comments really help me a lot. It's something that makes it more fun. It's almost like we're doing this journey together, and ultimately I'll make the decision. But hearing y'all's opinions, hearing what you think might be announced, hearing what you think might get a 2.0 really helps with the decision-making process. And also, it's just fun. I like talking with you guys. I like doing this collaboratively. It just makes it a lot more fun. And that's the whole point of the series. But that's where I'm sitting right now. And I think that what I'm going to do is when we come back for episode 8, a decision will be made. So episode 8, when I come back, the purchases will have been made. So I'm going to be needing you guys to definitely be commenting on this video. I'm going to be posting some community posts on YouTube that you can vote on. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I might be throwing some stuff up on Instagram. All right. So I'll link that in the description below. That way you can kind of vote. You can kind of give me your opinion, and we can kind of figure this out together. But I really think that's what I'm going to do. And there was part of me that wanted that to be a surprise and be like, hey, look, I went back and got these figures. But that defeats the whole purpose of the show. The whole purpose of the show is to, in real time, build out this collection and go through the thought process and everything like that. So it's been a blast, man. I mean, look at this. You can get a Pepper Potts figure here. That'd be really, really cool. You can get this, tons of different just Tony Starks from Iron Man 3. Like I said, Ben Kingsley's character. I think it ends up being Trevor. I think his name's Trevor, but we thought he was going to be the Mandarin. But that figure looks amazing. And man, but 2012, the Chitauri, Coulson, Fury, and even from Age of Ultron, we have Maria Hill, which is one that I'm going to keep it on as well. Maria Hill, Quicksilver. So yeah, man, we got a lot to think about. We got a lot to discuss. But I'm going to tell you right now, the ones I'm going to be looking at. And one of these characters will be probably more than likely, I'll have you vote on this stuff, but just let me know in the comments right now since you're already watching the video. Out of all the ones we mentioned, not only do you want to comment on the path we want to take here, but out of all the characters we mentioned, which one do you think is the safest to get now that has almost no chance of getting a 2.0 and that y'all think would be a good idea to pick up on a good deal? Let me know in the comments below what you think. I really appreciate it. I'm excited about Road to Doomsday, man. I think we finally found that North Star. I think we finally found what we need to be doing right now until more announcements happen. And I think what we need to do is try to build out the display that feels the closest to me and really represents who I am as an MCU fan and that I have the most connection to in anticipation for Doomsday. Because when that drops, and if that movie kicks ass, then we're going to have a ton of figures to pick from. And then we can obviously pick up more figures and make a Doomsday display then, and not have to worry about it. So again, I know it only took us 7 episodes to kind of get that feeling of like we're on the right track, but I think this puts us on the right track. I'm excited for it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I truly appreciate you watching the video. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely keep up to date. Hit the notification bell. Do whatever you need to do so you don't miss another video. Not only are we doing more Road to Doomsday, but we also got a Star Wars series. We're collecting different scales. We're doing a lot of different cool, fun stuff on this channel. So if you like seeing a collecting journey, if you like seeing different scales, different pickups, and Hot Toys, stuff like that. If you love all those things, man, definitely let me know in the comments below that you're enjoying it, and definitely continue to watch and support the channel because it really means a lot to me, and I'm really having a blast doing these videos. So thank you for that, and thank you for being on the journey with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.